So we're starting out with a little bit of a different list than last time. Nothing groundbreaking or anything, but we're kind of shaving on Path to Exile, shaving on Deflecting Palm, kind of going to 4 Roiling Vortex, 4 Smash Smithereen, which tend to be our best cards in the difficult matchups, namely Hammer Time and any type of Urza Saga nonsense, and then obviously against Elementals and any type of Cascade decks, Roiling Vortex is quite nice. You know, Path and Deflecting Palm are nice in small doses against decks like Murktide and Death Shadow. Sanctifier and Vec obviously kind of earning its stripes in the last video. As far as the main deck, we've shaved 2 Lightning Helix, brought back into skullcracks. Beyond that, you know, the list is pretty much the same what we've been running. So we're going to try to see how it does. As I said, not making many changes, and this isn't going to be a normal night streaming, but I figured we'd try out a few matches before it's time to call it quits for the evening. We are on the draw in this game, but this hand is overall perfectly fine. Facing a mirror match, perhaps? Indeed. We are, in fact, facing a mirror match. With a few less Lightning Helixes in our deck. It's unfortunate. Okay. So our opponent hit us with an Eidolon here. Yep. Let's grab... Hit me with your best shot, fire away. The music. Okay, presumably you have a bolt or something for that. No Lightning Helix? The heck kind of hand did you keep? Okay, sure. Opponent with 2 cards in hand really doesn't matter, I don't think. Okay. Going to 3. Rift Bolt, sure. Bizarre game. Path's fine. Deflecting Palm's fine. Don't particularly like Sanctifier right now. And Eidolon's out. Is that what we're going with here? Could leave 2 Eidolons in and maybe board down on something else. But I've always liked boarding out Eidolons, especially on the draw, so. Oof. I think we'll try this hand. Could get punished a little bit, but I think we'll try it. Turn 1 Goblin Guide. Nope. Turn 1 Swiftspear. Sure. Alright, well, okay. Question is, who draws the first land first? Second land first, I mean. Oh well, I just handed them the second land, so we're in trouble. Searing Blaze. Yep. And we just keep handing them lands. Oh well. No land. Alright, well, we finally drew our next land. Trigger, Searing Blaze. Well, that's a scary card. Sure. Why would you not sacrifice a Sunbaked Canyon there? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Sure, get a 7. So we'll look Deflecting Palm and Lightning Helix here. Sure. Sure. Gotta risk Lightning Helix here. If they have something, we're just dead anyway, so it's whatever. Gotcha. That's what they were holding up. Alright. Try it like that. Sounds fine overall. I kept another 1-lander. Oh, sure, whatever. Them to 8. We'll just main phase this to play around. Deflecting Palm. Bang. Alright, match number 2, we're on the play. This hand is painful, but fine. Fetch basic mountain, probably. Do it on Goblin Guide, get the most guaranteed damage in. Creatures generally lead to Burn's best starts overall. Basic Mountain, Goblin Guide. Okay, Flooded Strand doesn't tell us much. Murktide, never mind, tells us plenty. Counterspell. Okay, sure. Bundle with our creatures. Bam. Cast for Spectacle. Last turn. Just continue to play lands here. All right. Once again, no reason to take any game actions. Stockpile a hand with a bunch of cards. Still no reason to play anything out. Kept the card. Question is, how many counterspells does our opponent have? They have at least one. If our opponent fetches to counter this, unless they have Spell Pierce specifically, we still get to cast the Spectacle card. Looks like they're going to use what? Sure. Alright, interested in paths, interested in sanctifiers-ish, deflecting palm kind of, Boros Charm's a bit awkward in creature matchups, skullcracks probably actually worse. Sounds overall reasonable. Turn one Mishra's Bauble, sure. Targeting themselves, so they're deciding what to do with their fetch land. Okay. I have to shock myself here, which I'm not all that thrilled about, but Murktide region on top. Do you just counterspell this? Bubbles. One's got other bubbles. Means I can play a Murktide, but Murktide would what be? A 4/4? Sure. Path this. Spectacle. Sure, cast an iteration. Yeah, they have counterspell in hand. Okay. Sure. Okay. Flusterstorm. So they still get to have counterspell plus. What should we call it up? That's kind of annoying. Must be a land if they left it on top. Nope, expressive iteration. Interesting. So their hand is iteration, counterspell, one unknown. Hunt does not cast the iteration. Interesting. Not exactly my favorite thing to do, but hopefully we cleared the counterspell out of the way. You have one unknown, friend. What is it? Not sure what took so long to counter that. Seemed like the tanking on that took way too long. What's this for 3? Sure. Murktide region. So we're dead unless we draw exactly Boros Charm or Path, I suppose. Could be dead if they have Bolt or anything, so it's kind of whatever here. Alright. Yeah, pretty much, but it happens. Hopefully we'll have a good hand on the play. Nope. This hand's at least serviceable. I'll put back one of the Sunbaked Canyons. Shredder, sure. Dragon Range's Channeler, sure. Okay, so effectively Goblin Guy did 5, 4. What's up, Aquarius? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're both doing well, actually. Sure, I'm gonna play Layer Shredder. Okay. I think we avoid giving our opponent a chance to connive. Sure. Force them to react. Opponent knows we have Eidolon. They don't know we have Sanctifier. I'm obligated to play nothing here. Doing alright, War Dog. So, which one do I actually want to resolve more? How have you been, War Dog? Sure. Nothing our opponent can have that will keep that from resolving. Our opponent has to play a Murktide or something, or a Ledger Shredder to block this. Which it doesn't look like they have a Ledger Shredder, so they might have a Murktide. You can currently make a 7/7. Feels like that's what they're making. Made it a 4/4. Interesting. Does that mean they have another Murktide for next turn? Yeah, I hear you on that, War Dog. Opponent's going to 3. So what are they doing? Stealing our Swiss Spear? Opponent gets to hit us for 6, hold up a counter spell. Might just lose here, unfortunately, depending on what we draw. Let's go to combat first. Hopefully they don't have like counterspell Flusterstorm here. If they do, we lose. Not really much we can do about it. Spell Pierce got us. Second time in a row we've lost to Murktide. It is quite perplexing and frustrating sometimes to lose to that deck all the time. Alright, we're up against a Gigantha deck. Maybe Death Shadow. Not really particularly sure. Opponent's mulliganing to 5. So I have no idea what that means. Maybe Tron? Feels like Tron if they're mulliganing to 5. Or just Incredibly unfortunate draw from our opponent. Turn 1, Swamp. Underworld Cookbook. Now I understand. Not what I would consider a favorable matchup for us. Especially if they have access to Daredevil. No, they just have Emery. Okay, cool. Which means they probably have another copy of Emery, would be my guess. Huh? Unearth Emery. Got it. The opponent is playing an Underworld Cookbook combo deck that goes infinite with Time Sieve. Basically, they have a creature in their deck that allows them, every time they make a food or some token, creates another token, and then they make infinite things with Time Sieve and kind of go from there. They're also an Urza Saga deck. We got very lucky that they mulliganed so low on game 1, but we're still not out of the woods yet. As they, you know, basically every draw they don't like, they get to discard and make a food and cost us a card. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy overall. Searing Blaze is an interesting one. Alright. Especially if they ever draw Daredevil, like they have, like, infinite making food. Yep, sack of food, gain a life. Didn't discard, so what card would they keep? Are they just going to main phase a food activation here? Yeah, that's the card that's terrifying. I guess the nice part about Asmodeus is they can't activate it here. Actually, yes, they can. I take that back. Pitch book, cookbook to cookbook. Kill Eidolon. That requires them to sacrifice 2 tokens, right? Yeah. Alright, opponent's going to make a decision what they want to do. Do you sacrifice your 2 food tokens to kill Eidolon? Apparently the answer is yes. Yeah, Osmond, gotta. Yeah. I honestly think they might have been better keeping the food tokens. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. Got him. This is lethal. This will force them to... Sure. Sack the food token in response. We skullcrack you, and have a nice day. Oh boy. Underworld Cookbook. Oh, it's the Underworld Cookbook. Asmo food. Asmo Ledger Shredder, Academy Manufacturer, Rotational Daredevil, Time Sieve. They have different tools. A lot of it depends on what version they're on. Probably want the vortexes. Could want some number of sanctifiers. Could want smash to smithereens. Eidolon is like fine, but they also get to play most of their spells out, especially on the draw. Riftbolt's a little awkward. And then maybe 2 copies of Boros Burn. Feels like we're way over sideboarding for this matchup. Yeah, the key card for them is Academy Manufacturer, because every time you create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of all those. This is all 2 mana hand. Don't think we can keep it, though it does have a ton of cards we like in the matchup. No lander, can't keep. Well, I guess we reluctantly keep this one. Back one of those, and hope this is good enough. I don't think it will be, but okay. Turn 1 cookbook. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, put our opponent to 19. Really surprised our opponent didn't crack Mishra's Bauble here. I guess Emery makes sense. There's a Saga, blah blah blah. They are stuck on 1 land, hopefully. Unfortunate. I was kind of hoping they'd be stuck on 1 land. Sure, let's go know what we're drawing, most likely anyway, especially if it's a land. And it is. So awkward. See if we can get them to bite on. Interesting. I was kind of hoping they just block to block, but you know. Could have used one of our other spells here, but you know, we lost out on 2 damage there because I got a little too cute. Hopefully if our opponent has Prismatic Ending, they use it on Swift Spear. Okay. Ledger Shredder. Into Thoughtseize. Or Unearth. Unearth would make sense why they would play such a weird game. Land. Opponent has already shown they are willing to. Let's go ahead and do the thing. I wonder if our opponent realizes the extra line of text on Roiling Vortex. Guess we'll find out in a sec. Or they might have Prismatic Ending. Oop. Academy Manufacturer. That is a terrifying magic card. Alright, that at least gives us a chance. Oh, and of course they draw Daredevil. So you're dead. Got it. Okay, making sure they have access to no mana. Because I don't want to get got by some random, whatchamacallit, some random treasure tokens that I missed. This is a matchup that feels like it should be a no-win matchup for Burn, and yet now I've beaten it twice. just cookbook, any cookbook deck should like destroy burn, but play. Yeah, we're keeping. Opponent goes turn 1, Forest, Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Urza's mine. So we were up against Tron with a slow start. Got it. Okay. Unfortunately, we weren't on the play, or these Eidolons would like totally wreck them, but interesting. Gotta play Eidolon here if we want it to possibly do any damage. It may not anyway, but... And if they Boseiju us, I'm perfectly happy with that outcome as well. Okay, so they are going to have Tron next turn. Question becomes, what is their payoff? Oh, okay then. So if I go bolt, bolt, that's 4, 8, 10, 11 damage. If I go Boros Charm, it's some number less than that. If I play Eidolon and they have a bunch of spheres and stars. Problem is, what am I playing around here? Am I playing around Wormcoil Engine? Am I playing around Karn plus Trinisphere? Am I playing around Ugin? Am I playing around... I can't really play around Thragdad no matter what I do here. So, if they're O-Stone into activation, Boros Charm could get them if they don't activate immediately. Wormcoil Engine, it's best to hold on to bolts. It's kind of a weird situation we find ourselves in. I think I'm going to go for what's not the best. This is probably the worst line to take overall, but we'll incentivize our opponent to answer our board one way or another. Okay, so 4 mana Karn. And what are you getting? Ballista. Sure. So 7 plus 7. Block here, shoot something. Okay, that at least forces me to play at least one spell. Yep. So we know they'll have access to Ulamog possibly here, which would be terrifying. Sure. Oh, they just tick up. All right. Please don't be Ulamog. Please don't be Ulamog. Okay, hopefully this is just take out our creatures. Well, God bless the USA. Come on, give me a land, please. Actually, are they just dead? Yeah, they're just dead. Block there. Either way, you're dead. You sure they don't have like Nature's Claim or something in the main deck? Bolt you. What a crazy game. Alrighty then. What is Tron running these days? Sylvan Scrying. Mono G Tron. The Aura Gigantha deck. Chalice, Bottle Gnomes, Trinisphere. I think the easiest is these 4 in, Searing Blazes out. And beyond that, do we want Roiling Vortex? That becomes the question here. Path is like okay against Wormcoil, but that's about it. Deflecting Palm's only good against Wormcoil. I guess it's okay against Ulamog, but these 4 in, those out. Maybe shave 2 of these on the draw and bring in. No, I really don't like Deflecting Palm. Like, it's okay in the matchup, but like not super spectacular. And Boseiju is a thing, I know, but gotta do what we gotta do. Alright, this hand's pretty functional. I kept 7, which was terrifying for Tron on the play. Turn 1, nothing. So just have Natty Tron. Chromatic Sphere, sure. Wait, what? Our opponent is clearly not an experienced Tron player. Maybe they have Nature's Claim or something. I don't know what justifies keeping this hand, but... You always need to mulligan at least a 6 or 5 trying to find turn 3 Tron, especially against a deck like Burn. But, you know, who am I to... Who am I to tell our opponent how to live their life? Oblivion Stone. Well, if my opponent wants to cast Oblivion Stone, let's make it as painful as possible for them. Weather the Storm? Is that why you kept this hand? Okay, that makes a little more sense now. I should know when Tron players play really weirdly that it's Weather the Storm. And of course, they were shielding Tron the entire time. Cool. So force them to blow Tron. Really don't like exposing this, but it helps mana efficiency to play it out. Oh, they're just going to Ulamog us again? Cool. Alright, well. If we draw a land, we should probably win, depending on what their play is besides Wormcoil. Okay. Sure. What all did they mill? Skullcrack, Rift Bolt, Lightning Bolt. They have Weather the Storm, we're not beating it, so I'm not going to try to play around it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. You know, it's really kind of hard to argue with 5-0, 4-1, 4-1. You know, it was nice to have the extra smashes in this league for sure, both facing both green Tron and blue-black Asmo. You know, once again, our losses are our loss was to Murktide, which was a match that I used to think was favorable. Now I think it's really close. Maybe Murktide's slightly favored if the pilot is good, which there seems to be more and more Murktide players that understand their deck, how to play the matchup, etc. Yeah, don't got a whole lot else other than that. You know, it's nice to see matchups where Burn is actually favored. You know, decks like Titan Shift, Green Tron, you know, random other piles that we're running into. But, you know, people can play whatever deck they want, and really not seeing a whole lot of respect for Burn. You know, we saw Weather the Storm out of one opponent. I think if our Asmo opponent was a little bit more patient with how they played their cards, they might have had a better chance to gain a little bit of life that second game, maybe prolong it, maybe win the game. Kind of hard to say, especially when they had Oval Chaser Daredevil in hand, so they basically get a guaranteed activation every turn. Rest of the deck, I like cutting back on Path and Deflecting Palm overall. Sanctifier, saw some matchups where it was fine, like against Murktide and such, it was alright. But it's kind of a boom-bust card, mainly there for Shadow and Ragavan matchups, so, and it's okay against Dredge and Reanimator, but those are very corner case decks. So, what else are you going to do? So, got the second 4-1 in a row. Kind of hard to complain about a 13-2 record. That would be good enough to top 8 most GPs. So, but I want to thank everybody for hanging out for our impromptu stream tonight, and everybody catching this on MTG Nexus VODs later. Thanks for checking this out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hope to see you on Sunday for what should be our next stream.